Hello, my name is Chris Arneson, and the TED talk or TED talk that I have chosen was by Karen Thompson Walker, and it was titled "What Can Fear Teach Us?" In the speech, Karen Walker, who is a fiction writer, uses her story of the crew of the whale ship Essex as an example of what fears can teach us about. And one of the main points is that fear can be transformed into a motivational or productive factor in our lives. I believe the speaker is very creditable based on the information she presents throughout the talk. And being an author and previously an editor would generally mean that she has done a fair amount of research into a topic before feeling comfortable enough with it to present it. The call to adventure in this presentation is when Karen describes the decision that the crew from the whale ship Essex was presented with when the whale crashed into their boat, and they were hundreds and hundreds of miles away from shore. They had a choice of being eaten by cannibals, starvation, or being battered by storms as their viable options. And I feel that the way she described them, it was very effective and kept me wanting to know more about what had happened. I believe the speaker does a great job of storytelling and uses it very effectively. One example is when she was describing a fear from her childhood, a fear of earthquakes, and she recalls how terrifying it was being a little girl seeing the chandelier sway back and forth from the minor earthquakes. And every night she would go to bed afraid that they would get hit with the big one while they were sleeping, and how it related to her talk, I feel fit very, very well. I believe the message was very persuasive, and the facts that convinced me were at one point in her talk, she describes that humans are the only creatures that have the ability to think about the future and make decisions based upon that. I felt like that was a very, that section in her speech was a very persuasive section. I was also convinced on how she describes fear as a learned behavior, or when a child is very fearful or very vivid fears as you're younger, we always say they have a vivid imagination. So fear is in our imagination. I thought that was a very persuasive point. The call to action in this speech, I believe, is when Karen presented the audience with the choice to either go along with her as she was trying to persuade the audience into seeing fear as the way as she wanted us to see it, and believe that it can inform us or of things, and that we can transform it into being a positive aspect or a tool in our lives. My name is Chris Arneson, and thank you very much for taking the time out to listen.